So, do you need a man? I know you've heard people say, I don't need a man. I mean, I've definitely been guilty of like saying that mid-sentence or whatever, like, I don't need a man, right? And of course, you know, we all know that that's like true, not true, right? Because it depends on what we're talking about at that particular moment. So I met somebody last week. After I actually recorded that video on soulmates. It was after that. It was really kind of crazy. But it literally proved exactly what I was saying when I talk about soulmates and stuff. It literally proves what I'm always saying, what I'm always talking about. That basically, you really do not need a lot of time to know if somebody is like a soulmate or a true soulmate to you or in your soul family. Okay, because we all know that you can have a soulmate and it not even be like a love thing. You know how they say people are in your soul family? People that you get along with genuinely. People that really do soothe your soul. They don't agitate your spirit. They don't irritate you. They don't, make your nervous system go crazy. Okay. So I thought it was just so funny that I met this person. He was an older gentleman. And I would say an older gentleman with a very youthful spirit, and a very youthful look, because you know how, everybody knows that, black don't crack. Okay. People say black don't crack, but then there are some people who just don't crack. Like, I would love to be one of those people, but anyway. So, he was substantially older than me, but I met him. I was dropping off a delivery, and we ended up talking. I think we ended up talking for like 3 hours straight or something. I mean, literally into the evening, into the night, like literally till it was time for me to go home. Right outside in his driveway, and we talked about everything there was to talk about under the sun when it comes to life. But I knew right away, by the way my nervous system, the way my energy was jumping, I call it zinging, the way my energy was flowing, I should say. I didn't know, when I was young, I didn't understand what it was. I didn't understand what your energy felt like through your body, which is, they call it your chi, your blood flow. But anyway, your energy as it flows, you will feel it. People feel it in different ways, but I used to call it bees in my feet. I used to say I have bees in my feet, or I got buzzing in my feet. Like it would be like a bzz, bzz, every morning when I would wake up, and then throughout the day or different times, especially when I would go walking or do exercise or whatever. And then sometimes I would feel it like, in my arms or my fingers, but basically as your blood flows, right, you will feel different, you will feel sensations, right? It's really just your energy. So I can always tell, like, based on how my energy is feeling when I'm talking to somebody who is like giving me good energy, and I like them. Like, I genuinely like them as a person. I like them. Like, you can just tell by the way your body, your energy is responding, right? Also, there's other things in body language, and you could tell when people are just like a part of your soul family, or like you can tell they're like our soulmate kind of thing. They will tend to gravitate closer to each other like a magnet. You will lean in towards each other. Okay. Other signs, other than that, will be things like it's time flies. Time just flies. You ever notice, like, when you're with a soulmate, a friend, or it could be a love partner, it doesn't matter, but do you ever notice how like time just flies by and you're like, oh my god, is it 11 o'clock already? I have to go. Right? I'm sure you've had that experience. When you have that experience, especially when you have it consistently with somebody over and over again, that person is a soulmate. That's a soulmate. That's just someone who really soothes your soul, somebody that your soul actually wants to interact with. Okay, these are things that just kind of happen automatically, kind of thing. like you're not really in control of it, right? It's just things that just kind of happen, right? So like, for example, when I met this older gentleman, we had such good conversation, and we had such fluid conversation. Like, it actually almost felt like we needed more hours and hours and hours to talk. It was really that good of a conversation. And honestly, like, to me, it just proved everything that, or exactly what I was saying and what I've been saying, that when you're with somebody who is a soulmate, not just a potential marriage partner or boyfriend, girlfriend, or somebody for you to lay down with, okay, or somebody who, you know, you might physically be attracted to, right? There's that type of attraction, there's that type of relationship, or, you know, or if you happen to be like one of those people that, you know, marry for money, marry for kids, marry for circumstance, you know, cheaper to keep her, you know, all those things that people say, people do, whatever, you know, they split bills or whatever. That's all a different set of reasons why people stay together, or why people even get together in the first place. Okay? Green cards, all those other things that people get married for, or whatever, right? Or pair up for. But when you're dealing with a soulmate situation, not even just compatibility, because you can also become compatible with somebody who you're not even really a soulmate with, right? You can learn just to adapt to each other and become compatible, like in a work environment, stuff like that. But I'm talking about like in a soulmate situation, right? In a real soulmate situation, it will feel just like what I just described. It will feel like automatically a fit, an automatic, you know, ease, comfortability, trust, calming of your nervous system, and like you've known that person forever, and like you already know they are literally, I call a lifer. I will say like a lifer, somebody who's like a lifer, somebody that you meet that you know you could deal with them for a lifetime, right? And time will just fly. And this happens pretty much like day one. It's something about your energies that will draw each other closer to each other, right? You'll lean in. It's like you'll lean in and you want to continue the interaction of whatever the interaction is. If you're talking, whatever you're doing, like whatever it is that you're actually doing, like whatever you're talking about, whatever, right? You will lean in and time will fly by. And that's just what happens. And that will happen over and over and over and over again. Now, for me, like I say, personally, when my feet start buzzing and my hands start buzzing, you know, and I start feeling like that real buzzing sensation, you know, like I start feeling that, it feels like that, like bees in my feet, okay? When I start feeling that, I start knowing that that person is giving off very good energy and they're lighting me up. I feel lit up, okay? So there's lots of ways that you can get that feeling. You can get that feeling from songs, from music, from people, you know, or, you know, even food, certain foods, when they're really good for you. When you eat your foods that are actually really good for you, that are like on your good list for your body, you will feel the energy flow through your body. You will feel a bzz, bzz, like that kind of sensation, you know. So there are different ways that you can get that. But when I get that just from talking to somebody or from interacting with somebody, that's for me another way that I know that that person, or at least, you know, at that moment, or, you know, this, you know, that person in general is good for my soul. That's a personal thing for me, personally. In any case, this gentleman said something. He said, we were talking about how when women will say, you know, I don't need a man. And I have always been the type of person that's like, okay, I can be independent. I can definitely live on my own. I did live on my own before I got married. I mean, it's like, I can definitely breathe without a man. I can drive. I can feed myself. I can work. without a man, okay? And I can continue to live and wake up the next morning without a man, right? But do I want to be without a man? No. But there are times in your life where you need to. You absolutely need to. Like when you need to heal after maybe a bad situation or something like that. Or when you just need time to focus or whatever, right? But it's like, he said something that cracked me up. He said that I don't remember now because I don't want to quote him, but I think he said his sister or his aunt or his somebody told him, they said, it was a female. She said, the only women who say they don't need a man are women who don't got a man. No, are women who never had a man. I think that's what he said. Oh my goodness, I'm botching it. But anyway, he said that. He said women who say they don't need a man are women who never had a man. And I really did agree. And the reason why I say that is because you can totally get used to living without a man. Absolutely. And especially if you got enough funds to pay for whatever services you feel like a man could give you. Okay. And I mean around the house, hammer and nails. I'm not trying to get crazy with it, whatever. But you know what I'm saying, right? So it's like, if you're that type of woman, you definitely can get used to like, with not having a headache of sometimes what a man can bring, right? But, if you are a type of woman who is just used to being married or used to grew up in a household with a bunch of men or, like brothers and your dad or whatever, or, if you grew up in a household where you saw your mother and your father interact and everything, and that just feels normal to you or whatever, you will definitely admit more easily and more readily that you need a man. And I tend to more fall into that category because even though I'm very independent, I feel there's a lot of things that either I can't do, due to my female stature, like, I'm short, whatever, like all kinds of things, or that I don't want to do, right? So I need a man because I don't want to cut the grass. So like, my grass needs to be cut. I don't want to cut it. I'm not going to cut it. I need a man for that. Okay, I have boys, right? But right now both my boys are not with me. They're out of the house, grown, whatever. I hate, it drives me bananas saying that because they're so young. But anyway, I thought I was grown too at 18. Anyway, I don't want to cut no grass. So therefore, I need a man. I don't want to barbecue. Okay, I'm not going to barbecue. I've never barbecued. Now, can I? Yes, I could put some chicken and stuff on a grill. I can do it. But I'm not. Okay. My dad always barbecued. My dad was the grill master. My late husband Travis was the grill master. His dad was the grill master. His brother, they all used to like do their little competition, whatever, with grilling. I don't know. I don't grill. I've never grilled. And the likelihood of me grilling, I guess if I was stuck on a desert island or something and I had to. But, that's not the case. I'm not stuck on a desert island anywhere. And I would just assume just go buy some barbecue from the barbecue pit somewhere locally before I would actually barbecue and grill on my own. Okay, to me, that's a man thing. Okay. Another example, like I have a hard time on a daily basis opening bottles, like opening the lids. Honestly, even my second husband, he got me a little thing that I could twist open jars and stuff easily from Pampered Chef. Anyway, it works really good because I always needed help. I don't know why. I think I have weak wrists or something like that. But even sometimes I have, like woken up through the night or something and wanted to get a drink or something. And I remember not too long ago, like wanting some body armor, and I was trying to like open it. And I was tired, so I was even weaker because I was like, sleeping or whatever. I couldn't open it. I was like, literally, I could open it. I was like, ugh. Where's a man when I need one? Okay, so like I'm spoiled when it comes to all those types of things. You know, killing spiders, killing, you know, insects of any kind in general. I hate putting gas in my car. I do it. Okay, but I did get spoiled in that way in my first marriage. I got spoiled with that. I didn't put gas in my car, or very rarely. If I did, I just did it very rarely, you know. Car things in general, like getting my oil changed, changing my tire, all those lights that always come on. If something's always wrong, like something is always going off in the car, there's always some light going off, and it's like, I don't know what this light means. Like, why do I have to deal with this? I don't like dealing with it. I mean, will I? Yes, I will take a picture of it or write it down and look it up on YouTube and then figure it out, or call my uncle, or call somebody. It's just annoying to me. This is like literally like, these are the annoying things to being like single or being like without a man. Okay, definitely I don't like hanging curtains. I like putting curtains up. I like decorating. I absolutely like decorating. You know, I like, you know, designing things in the house and stuff. Like, I can say exactly how I want it. But the implementation of it, it's like, no, I need a man that knows how to, like, use a hammer and nails and has a toolbox. I'm just keeping it real. Like, that's just, I would prefer. Now, do I know women who are really good with that kind of stuff? Yeah, I do. I'm not one of them. It's never been that's not my lane. I mean, I can boss around and tell you I want the picture over here, I want the curtains over here, I can do that. Like, I can do that. But, you know, I can, and if I have to hang some stuff up or do it or whatever, I will. But again, it's not my lane. And like, my second husband actually used to make fun of me because he said behind every picture it looked like Woody Woodpecker, because I had to put like a bunch of holes for the nails to try to get it straight. That he was just like, you know, don't do it. Like, just wait till I come home or whatever. Leave it till I come home because you're terrible at it. Like, he loved to remind me that I was terrible at hanging up pictures and stuff. So, you know, so like, to me, these are like everyday life things, life scenarios. I mean, rubbing my feet. I mean, I definitely miss being married for this reason right here. Because my feet have always hurt me, especially ever since having kids. And my feet always need a continuous rub. Any type of a rub all the time. And men have stronger hands in general. They have stronger hands. I mean, I'm not afraid to do a rub down either. But like, in general, you know, I think men are really good at massages and rubbing your feet. I'm just keeping it real. Okay. Now, can I, you know, go pay for, you know, a pedicure? Absolutely. And I do it all the time. I do it all the time. But again, it is nice to have a built-in husband who likes to rub your feet. Like, I don't know. I do notice that there are some men who absolutely gravitate to this naturally. Literally, I've literally seen this with my own eyes. I can say for a fact I've known 3 men who, like, automatically, when you sit down on the couch or whatever, they want you to put your feet up, because they actually, it's like, I don't know if it's habitual for them, but like, they do it automatically. They just want to rub your feet, and they're not even doing it to like show off or anything. Like, it's like watching TV, but they want to rub feet or whatever. It's hard to explain. Travis was absolutely like that. I mean, you know, he would pick my toenails too. Like, I'd be like, ow, stop. But I actually knew somebody else that was like that too. I actually knew a couple of people like that. Like, they just automatically, they wanted your feet like on their lap or whatever. Anyway, and it was just a comfort thing. And it worked out for me because my feet needed to be rubbed, right? So to me, that is another reason why I need a man, right? Okay, so it's like, I could teeter-totter on or straddle on the line between I don't need a man because, you know, I can do things independently, right? And those women who say that, but I absolutely know all the reasons why I need a man and why I want a man and why I value a man in my life, right? Now, of course, there's the more serious reasons why God, you know, has, you know, will provide or has instituted the, you know, the marriage as a coupling, you know, and one of those reasons is protection. We all know that men tend to usually, want to protect anybody that they love. They want to be protective. And they tend to have more insight when it comes to protection, like they tend to be a little bit more like on it with, locking doors, keeping an eye out around you or whatever, or seeing danger before danger happens, stuff like that, and absolutely that is, top of my list when it comes to having a man or wanting a man, needing a man. I do feel like men in general do tend to provide more protection. And you can tell when some men are really more protective than others. Those guys that are always like, text me when you get home, let me know that you're safe, right? It means that they care about you. They want to know where, that you're good to go. Almost like they can't fall asleep or go to bed or rest at ease until they know you are safe at home, right? And a lot of my male friends, colleagues, people, whatever, they tend to be like that. Also, too, I noticed when a man is that way with me or whatnot, in general, when he's that way, and when he stops saying things like that to me, like text me when you get home, or checking on you, making sure you got home safe, or just that whole thing, like just that whole thing. I have noticed that when that stops, the relationship may be, well, let me just say, it does put my antennas up. If I'm in a relationship with somebody and he was that way in the beginning, or always, pretty much, like call me when you get home, checking on you, or let me know when you're home, or whatever, like was on it, like always on it, like that, like where you at, like, and I don't mean where you at controlling, because there's a controlling kind of like where you at, there's like that controlling kind of like guy who's like, where you at, and then there's that where you at, like I'm trying to figure out where you at because I want to make sure you're safe or whatever, like what's going on around you kind of thing or whatever. That is what I'm talking about, okay? And when and if that starts to wane off, or like they don't say that, it definitely puts my antennas up, and it does actually make me start to think that either he doesn't care anymore, or something is up, his attention is somewhere else. Because when a man stops looking out for you, or in a protection type of way, either something else is taking his attention, or the love is slipping. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Because the men that I know and that I've dated and talked to, they're like that even with their mother, with their sister, with their children, or whatever. They're that way in general. And so when and if they stop being that with you, it could be a sign that you're falling outside of that circle of love. Honestly, that's just how I see it. But protection is high on the list as to another reason why I would say, if I had to pick one or the other, like I don't need a man or I need a man, I would definitely lean on the side. I'd definitely be like, I need a man. Okay, that would be one of the reasons why, right there, for sure. Okay. I did actually like write a little list so I didn't forget, because these things come up, right? Okay, so I talked about like reaching high. I'm so short, I can't ever reach anything, anywhere, at any store, in my house, anywhere. I'm just too short always. So I always need to get one of those grabbers or whatever. So I usually need to borrow some man's arms or something like that, who's a lot taller than me, who can reach whatever. And that is a consistent problem for me. That's never going to go away. I don't think I'm going to be growing anytime soon. So yeah, specifically having a tall man is like a huge plus in my life. A huge plus, me being a shorty. Okay, and a movie partner. That's another reason why. Everybody wants a movie partner, right? Like when you want to go to the movies, when you want to go and go hang out at the movies or whatever, you want a movie partner, right? And they, when you got a man, they're like your built-in movie partner. Now I can go to the movies by myself, absolutely I can, but it is fun if you have a built-in movie partner, right? That was something I definitely kind of got used to being married. Definitely got used to that. Okay, let's see. I talked about barbecues. Oh, a business partner. So potentially a business partner. Potentially, I say potentially because you and, depending on who you get with and everything, you may not agree on what to be in business about or with, or like what kind of business to have. You may not agree on that or whatever. You may not even. So this is why when you focus on getting with a soulmate, somebody who doesn't irritate you, somebody who doesn't annoy your soul, you can actually think about actually going into business with them or doing a business with them. You can actually even see yourself doing that because they don't annoy you. Okay, and you might actually agree on whatever the business that you're doing together, right? You might actually agree upon that. And if you can, that's really good, because when two people can actually bring out the best in each other, and you can actually not just tolerate each other, but actually do that, like bring out the best in each other, like be your, like opposites attract kind of thing, your business can really flourish. You will see a business really, really, really grow and flourish, like big time. Like you'll say, like abundance, right? So that is something that really could be a huge plus if you happen to find that in a partner, and then of course, love and affection, right? I mean, we all know that it's good to, love yourself. You love yourself first, right? You love your God. You learn to cultivate the love of yourself and take care of yourself so that you can be able to love others, right? Because obviously you cannot share your cup of love if your cup is not filled up with what you need, nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself. You can't be of real service to anybody else, including your family, when you're burnt out or stressed out, right? So, but outside of that, there's only so much that, you can do for yourself, right? So, love and affection. So I do feel like, that goes on both sides. Like, a man wants a woman for love and affection. That's usually on the list, usually. And, I think a woman definitely, if she's attracted to that man on a physical level, she's going to want him for love and affection, right? Now, to what level and how much and all of that is going to vary. If you are a woman who loves PDA and you're into that, and that's, public displays of affection, you may, want a man who is going to do that for you, like gives affection easily and love. I know for me personally, especially, I didn't realize, well, in my first marriage, I got a lot of love and affection. I mean, I was spoiled with it, and I didn't look at it that way. Other women did tell me that, but I didn't really notice it until after he passed. The deficit of pure love and affection, laughter, just touch, just physical touch. I didn't notice that deficit until after he passed. And then it became a huge loss for me, like where I missed it, right? I really missed that. And now, being older and having gone through a couple different relationships and everything, me knowing what I want to marry for, which is obviously for me, I only want to marry for real, pure attraction, affection, love, and a real soulmate situation, a real, true, genuine attraction, right? I definitely don't want any man who is going to be not affectionate, not loving, or scared to be loving, scared to be affectionate, or, scared to, hold hands or act funny, funny style. They say funny style, right? Like, that is definitely not, I don't want anybody who's trying to figure, like, who has a hard time showing love, giving love, receiving love, and all of that, or just as real, like, I don't know. That's just not gonna work for me at this point, because I already know, like, I like that kind of thing, and I want it reciprocated for sure. Like, I don't want that to be, I want it to be a real ease and flow. And so having experienced a little bit of the opposite of that, like, I don't like it. I don't like it. I definitely don't like it. So I definitely feel like you need a man definitely for love and affection when it comes to, the opposite sex or whatever, float your boat, whatever, but I'm just saying, like, when it comes to, like, that is a definite thing that can be a real motivating factor, and why for me, I would say I need a man, But of course, they always say, you don't want to be like, you need somebody, but you want them. But to me, that's just all like saying the same thing. Basically, okay, absolutely. It's like, when they say that, it's like, you don't want to feel like you need a man to pay your bills, to feed you, to survive, okay, or to live. Like, and I would say most women don't want to be put in that situation. Like, it's like, yes, most men are the providers naturally. If they love you truly and they're a man's man, I don't care how young or how old they are. I've seen this in all ages. I've seen this in all ages of men. I don't care how old or how young they are and how they grew up. If they love you, I've seen men, if they love you, they want to take care of you. They want to provide for you. They want to look out for you. They want to protect you. That's just what happens when a man loves you. Like, that's just innate inside of a real man. Like, it's innate. It's inside of him, right? I won't take that from a man. I will not be the type of woman who will take that from him and his ability to do that. And I absolutely appreciate that and those type of desires in a man, or if he has the ability to do that or whatever, to provide and all that kind of stuff. I am not personally the type of woman who is a sprinkle girl who wants to, and who commands any man to make a certain amount of money so he can just, give me a certain lifestyle. I come more for the school of thought of, like, whatever lifestyle that I say I want or whatever, I feel like should be worked for and or blessed by God, or like God is your come up or whatever, like, in other words, I don't like a man to be able to go around and claim to everybody that he is my come up. He is the reason why I blah, 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 blah. She couldn't do this without me. She wouldn't be able to do this without me. I don't like that. I don't like that. That's arrogance. I don't like that. Okay. So it's like, if a man has provisions or things or whatever he has, whatever, that's just extra. And that is absolutely, accepted. And, like, I like that and everything. But I don't want any man to take away from what my capabilities are, what I can do, what my God has done for me, what my God has blessed me with or whatever. I don't like arrogance, and I don't like a man to think that he could take that all away. Like, if I don't listen to him or if I don't do what he wants and blah, blah, blah. No, I can't do that. I just can't. That's where I draw the line all the way there. So when providing and taking care of and all that kind of stuff crosses over the line of, like, now that I'm doing this for you, you got to do things my way 100%, blah, blah. No. Forget it. That's when it becomes like, forget it. Go find somebody else. I don't like that. I don't like it. I'd rather just live on my own at that point, or be on my own, whatever, provide for myself, take care of myself. Because I don't like that arrogance. So it's like, if a man is giving and loving and is truly from his heart, and he's doing something not for the credit of being your come up, or, being your end all be all kind of thing. Okay, as long as he's doing it with the right motivation, or it's just a part of who he is, and it's just, this is like how he shows love, but this is very natural to him, and this is not going to be held over your head, right, or dangled as a carrot, or used as a tool to control you. Okay, then in that case and in that way, to me, that is proper, that is right, that is what's to be expected. And that's how I grew up. My dad was a provider, and he came home and gave the check to my mom. I mean, my dad worked and my mom gave him the allowance. I don't know. Like, it was just like, I don't know. I mean, this is just what I was raised, how I grew up. Like, I'm not saying that a man should give up all his money, but what I'm saying is that it is just not like, I don't know. It never was a thing. It was never a thing. It was never used as a tool to, you know, control, manipulate, or anything like that. Okay. So, but it's just like a man being a provider and doing those things that he does. It's just a part of being a man. It's how God kind of made the man to be, right? Like, it's just the way a man is, you know, born to be. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. That's my view on that. That's just my view, right? So I just feel like if a woman utilizes her mind, her brain, her skills, her gifts, whatever her abilities are, things like that, and continues to grow that and doesn't stop, like, you can't let a man like take 100% control over you, or him be your, you know, number one priority all the time, to the point that you lose yourself, you lose your skills, or you let your car go and no longer in your name and you get a car in his name, and you start losing all your independence. Okay, I was guilty of that. Went into a relationship fully independent, came out not independent, okay? Yeah, that will never happen to me again. No, not doing that anymore. So for sure, that's something that I always recommend, and that I'm always reminding my friends, or, you know, just young women and people that I meet, like, always making sure that they don't lose your independence when you're in a relationship with a man, because at any given moment, anything could happen, really and truly, meaning that person can pass away and you don't have any control over that. And that's just the truth. That is a reality that people live every single day. Okay. And you need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Also, it is true that feelings can change, and men become unreliable for whatever reason or whatever, right? And you need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. And so this has been like a literal thing going on in my mind for the last few years, you know, making, you know, just working towards that goal 100%, and growing my brain, growing your ability to be stable, and but still having some enjoyments in life. Like, nobody wants to hate. Nobody wants to feel like they have to work and hate it, right? But making sure that you're keeping your independence, not losing that, you know, is very, very important in a relationship. So it's like, do you need a man? Yeah and no. Do you want a man? For me, absolutely, for a whole bunch of things, right? For a whole bunch of reasons. I absolutely want a man. I mean, a regular everyday person. Okay. Also, one thing that I absolutely miss is at night. Okay, my back hurts me really bad ever since having kids, right? Like, having babies, if you're a woman, you probably agree with me, but having babies will throw your back out or whatever. And like, when you get the right kind of man, he just like supports your back perfectly in bed. And yeah, I miss that. I absolutely miss that. A body pillow does not do the same thing. That back support is, you know, in the bed, it can be really good, as long as he's not like super hot and sweaty, you know, and he's not the kind of guy that, you know, like, if he's a furnace, then, you know, it might not work. But that is one thing for sure that I do miss. Like, for sure, it is helpful to have, you know, that person in the bed. And also, they got to be the right size for that to fit perfect, like in the small of your back. And I say that because one of my best friends, and literally female best friend, right? And we were both married or whatever. But whenever her and I would spend the night together, and this was like many years ago, I was like younger, well, Actually, it's my sister-in-law. I'm short, she's tall, but we were so comfortable with each other. We fit so perfectly. We were spending the night, and we were comfortable with each other enough to I could be like, move this way because it's better on my back support. We used to say that to each other, like, oh my God, we're too close. Like, we knew each other so well. Like, we knew how to, like, lay perfectly in the bed to support your back, the smaller your back. And I know, like, if you had children, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like something happens, like kids do a number on you. I think I'm going to do a video on that because I feel like, when you first having a baby, you can read what to expect when you're expecting, and you still might need a little bit more information. So I think that's another good video I might do one day, is talk about my personal experience with having babies, having children. Okay, it's already at 40 minutes, way too long again. I'm sorry, I try not to talk so long, but anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.